The head of state visit Balbala University campus. The launch of a mass screening in Djibouti city concerning the fight against COVID-19. For internationals in France and Germany proposed a 500 billion euro recovery for EU. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, inquired in person about the state of resumption of classes of the University of Djibouti. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, visited the University of Djibouti this Tuesday morning to inquire firsthand about the state of resumption of classes following the entry into the forces of the progressive deconfinement adopted last Sunday, May 17, 2020 by our country. The head of state visit to the University of Djibouti is related to his determination to provide all the necessary support and backing in these times of COVID-19 pandemic to maintain an efficient level the performance of our main structure. In Djibouti, the university forms a strategic tandem with the notion of exploiting our leading geographical locations in the realizations of our development. It provides us with the human heritage that is indispensable for the creation of national wealth, is a factor in our sovereignty and economic independence. President Guelleh's visit to university was essentially marked by an address he gave at these institutions. The resumption of classes was made possible thanks to the great determination shown by university's main leaders who fight against the principle of sabbatical year. President Ismail Omar Guelleh said, with the reopening of university, our students are connected to the prospect of obtaining their diploma as early as this summer. Immediately afterwards, the jobs market, the President of the Republic observed before giving a general account of the state of health of our country in the current context of COVID-19. We are pleased with the situation is under control in which we are managing to contain this pathology until now, he said, paying a tribute to the University of Djibouti for the valuable support it provides to the national programs to fight against coronavirus. Our country is very grateful to the progress paying series of products to protect and treat the coronavirus. He said a disinfectant tunnels, a visitor visors with a huge purpose to protect medical staff. In his speech, the head of state, Ismail Omar Guelleh, welcomed the reactivations of University of Djibouti. Listen to the head of state.
الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour, je suis venu aujourd'hui pour vous saluer.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I've come here today to say greetings and wish you a happy holiday. In the last 10 days of Ramadan are particularly important for Muslims. This is an opportunity to say hello to you and tell the students and teachers how much the nation is mobilized with you in a relentless fight against the pandemic that is bringing the entire economy and social life in the world to its knees. I would also like to pay tribute to our doctors, our nurses, our midwives, who are fighting with determination against this pandemic. We are a very small country, but we believe that we have bravely managed to contain it. We are going to start yet another phase of our fight, especially to protect our seniors, those who are vulnerable, and those who are sick to protect them from the virus. This is a fight that involves everyone. I'm also pleased that despite the difficulties, the students at our university will be able to avoid a blank year thanks to your minister and your president of the facility in general, who did not want to waste a time or a year for those who aspire to enter the workforce so that they can graduate. I congratulate them in advance. I wish very much for the enduring spirit of our students our engineers who are actively involved in developing the defenses of our fight against the virus. Especially engineers, I would like to say bravo to them. I wish you a good end to Ramadan and the struggle continues. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Long live the Republic.
Je voudrais leur dire bravo. Je vous souhaite une bonne fin de Ramadan et la lutte continue, mesdames et messieurs. Merci, vive la République, vive l'Université de Djibouti. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Our team was able to gather the impressions of the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Nabil Mohamed Ahmed. Listen to Dini Moussa.
À remercier le président de la République pour sa visite.
This morning, I would like to thank the President of the Republic for his visit. There are two aspects to this visit. First of all, a symbolic one, in the sense that very few countries, during the hour of confinement, have had the courage to allow higher education to resume. I believe that through the progressive confinement that the President of the Republic had the courage to sign through his decree, this resumption today is taking place at the level of the University of Djibouti and in all institutes of higher education, such as the Institute of Health Science, so that to respect the gestures of provision to guard against and prevent coronavirus. The second thing that is important is an act of awareness, an act of message. The President of the Republic, as you have just seen, has asked the entire university community, and particularly professors and students, to remain aware that containment does not mean relaxation, and that is only on this condition that we can contain the disease and thus prevent the vacuum in students. I would like to personally commend the work carried out at the University of Djibouti and the Institute of Health Sciences and the Djibouti Center for Studies and Research, their leaders who have done a remarkable job, but also all their assistants, the deans, the heads of department, and the courage of some students who have been able to adapt to this pandemic by innovating when you have seen it, creating visors, creating tunnels, disinfection, and research work to be able to adapt to a difficult situation. As I said earlier, we are here today. We want to return to a normal situation in abnormal conditions, but we must continue to live. That is the last message from the President of the Republic. While being aware, we call all the entire population of Djibouti to support this action. Lastly, I would like to reassure teachers and say that the President has supported them through the decree signed on the statute of teacher researchers to give them full scope to be both teachers and researchers so that Djibouti can meet the challenges of all the diseases, COVID or otherwise. And final common message, now is the time. We ask all the people to pray to God, that God will save us from this disease and save the whole world.
The Secretary General of the Minister of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, has made the daily press briefings. Listen to this video.
La situation Covid-19, ce mardi 19 mai,
This Tuesday, 19 May, 588 tests were performed, whom 100 were positive and 15 people were declared cured. As you can see again today, the high number of positive cases of COVID-19 indicates that the virus is present on the streets and is actively circulating in the community. The fight against the epidemic continues in everyone. Healthcare workers are working hard to find contacts. Positive cases are taken care of by health professionals. Same remarkable work time that carries all our respect. In these last days of Ramadan and with the approach of Eid al-Fitr, we urge the population to strictly follow all the preventative measures set out, in particular to avoid any public gathering likely to encourage contamination, and to limit travel to the bare essentials. We also remind them that they can call the free-of-charge hot number 1517 to report any suspicious case or for any useful information. Finally, the overall result is 18,933 tests carried out, 1,518 positive cases of COVID-19 detected, 1,033 people have confirmed cured. Stay aware. Thank you.
As part of the launch of mass screening campaign, Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed has visited the health centers this morning to take a closer look at the progress of this operation. Thus, the Prime Minister began his visit with the Qor Burhan Center, where he first had a brief discussions with the staff of the center. He was then able to see the sampling operations carried out on site to strengthen the fight against the COVID-19 in our country. Prime Minister asked the health professionals on the spot to assure him that the campaign was going well. Prime Minister Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed also visited the Al Hussein Reproductive Health Center, which has been transformed into the screening facilities that remains one of the most important in the country. Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed said he was pleased with the way this massive screening campaign is currently being carried out. The mass screening campaign COVID-19 in Djibouti City as part of the government strategy to control the epidemic. The Ministry of Health has deployed COVID-19 voluntary and rapid screening teams to CDC's community health center, polyclinics and hospitals. This massive campaign is open to anyone who want to be tested and will target vulnerable populations, including the elderly and people with chronic disease as a priority. Once again, the Minister of Health will ensure a strict enforcement of parameters through durations of this mass screening campaign. With the framework of the fight against COVID-19 and following the new initiative of the government, which consists in carrying out mass screenings in all the districts, it is today that the community development centers, and more precisely the CDC RTD, which had the honors to welcome the launching of this great event. Launching of this great campaign event, the health technicians were honored by their participation, especially the Director of Health Promotions, Mr. Abdallah, senior officials of Secretary of State and for Youth and Sport, namely Acting Director of CDC, Ms. Qureshi Ali Geddi, and the Head of Department, Mr. Ahmed Ali Ahmed, Sub-Prefect of the 1st District, Abdi Hassan. A large number of people, mostly young people, responded to these calls and volunteered for the COVID-19 tests. In addition, the same times, the networks of young leaders conduct a large door-to-door awareness service in the District 1 and 2 in order to direct the public to their destinations. The Minister of Health, Mohammed Warsama Diriye, participated in the 73 rounds World Health Assembly, which for the first time since its creation in 1948 was held by the video conference because of COVID-19 pandemic spread over 2 days. The World Health Assembly is a key annual meeting of World Health Organization's member states to discuss issue of health without the war. Given the current context, the member state called for unity in fight against COVID-19. Speaking on behalf of the group of Francophone ambassadors, the Minister of Health recalled that the highlights of the national response to COVID-19 in Djibouti, the minister did not fail to pay a vibrant tribute to all the health staff who are on front lines in the fight against this global pandemic. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, received at the Central Purchasing Offices of Medicine and Essential Materials donations of several batches of medical equipment from private individuals. Owners of the campaign, Every and Jet Services, Mr. Tommy Tayaro. These materials intend to better fight against the spread of coronavirus disease in the Republic of Djibouti, composed of gloves, masks, disinfectant gel, and assign it to the various COVID-19 management structures to avoid any risk of contamination. The reception ceremony was attended by Director General of CAMS, Dr. Hussein Ahmed. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, thanked the generous donor and said that these precious donations will enable his services engaged in fight against COVID-19. As usual in the blessed month of Ramadan, the Ministry of Social Affairs Solidarity, the National Union of Djiboutian Women, the Women Foundations of the Djiboutian Diaspora Association jointly organized this morning's donation ceremony for families with children with special needs. The Djibouti Women Foundations of Djiboutian Diaspora contribute to this noble initiative to close of an orphan. Donations consist of hygiene kit, ice glasses, and a financial package. This ceremony was attended by many authorities. The association's Women Foundation is chaired by Ms. Ferouz Ali Aden has just reiterated its ongoing commitment to the most disadvantaged. Finally, the family wished to express their gratitude and appreciation to those who contribute to the organizations of this event. On this occasion, the Vice President of UNFD, Hasna Ahmed Bilil, thanked the Minister of Solidarity, the Djibouti Expatriate Women's Association, for the gift he gave to disabled people. In his speech delivery, the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, Ms. Muna Usman Aden, she praised the efforts of the National Union of Djiboutian Women to help the disabled people, in particular the simple family with general suspicions. She also thanked the associations of Djiboutian expatriate women in Europe for their continuous support to help the poor family. It also urged expatriates to take such initiative to help the disabled and needy. The Minister of Decentralization, Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, has visited Sankal, the Indhel regions, to deliver food assistance as part of the Solidarity Caravan to mitigate the socio-economic consequences of the government measures to curb the spread of COVID-19. The Minister in charge of Decentralization, Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, accompanied by members of his cabinet and representative of the Ministry of Social Affairs Solidarity, is continuing his travel among rural population in remote area of the country. In the framework of solidarity set up by his department in partnership with the Ministry of Social Affairs Solidarity, he went to Sankal, a border towns in the south of the country in the regions whose inhabitants make their living from a goat and the breeding and small cross-border trade activities. The president of the regional council, Abdurrahman Yunus Arre, the sub-prefect of Asala, Musa Ahmed Ugre, the village chief, Mahmoud Roblew, as well as the populations of this village and its surrounding localities, was all present on this occasion. The Minister Aramis explained to his interlocutor that his visit came in the context of a health crisis caused by a new communicable disease. The public and buildings and public work sectors was the first sectors to be deconfined by the President of the Republic in a speech to the nation. Our reporters went to several construction sites in order to observe the feelings of the workers and the respect for the gestures of barriers. After economic impact caused by COVID-19, the government decided to confine the building sectors to first one. Several workers who found themselves unemployed were able to take back their work tools and finally continue their activities on the various building sites. Thus, for the past few days, building sites have been gradually coming back to life. Hundreds of Djiboutians working in this sector have had a difficult time. These resumptions of activity already satisfied by the workers who came to collect their earnings from constructions and who had no other source of income. We are entirely grateful to that our first the President of the Republic, Ismail Mergele, has given us the priority of containment in our building sector, so we sincerely salute him, he said. But these resumptions of activity must go hand in hand with respect for various gestures such as wearing masks and social distancing from clothing, regular hand washing with soap. These gestures are valid in these sectors as well as in any other activity. It is as to certain the effective respect of these regulations that we visit these workers with the heat that is beginning to be seriously felt, the burning sun combined with this period of Ramadan. The solidarity is traditionally of social and moral duty, especially in this blessed month of Ramadan, when the population has been greatly destabilized by the socio-economic consequence of COVID-19 pandemic. It is in this perspective that the National Union of Djiboutian Women, under the leadership of the First Lady, President of UNFD, Khadra Mahmoud Haid, proceeded these Sundays at the primary schools of Balbala 1 to the distribution of dignity kits to the families most affected by the recent heavy rains. Thus, 500 kits consisted of clothing, shoes for men and women, as well as clothes for children were distributed. All beneficiaries also received impregnated mosquito nets with the support of the Ministry of Health. Under the patronage of the ambassador of the custodian of the two holy places in Djibouti, Abdulaziz bin Abdullah al-Madar, for religious affairs of the Saudi Arabian Embassy, yesterday's afternoon continued the implementations of the 9th sessions of Project Custodian to the Holy Places, King Salman bin Abdulaziz al-Madar, for the distributions of foodstuff for the year 2020. This charity project is part of the continuous support of our country receives from the government of the Saudi Arabia. For his part, the ambassador of the custodians of the two holy places, Abdulaziz bin Abdullah al-Madar, stressed in his speech that this initiative aims mainly to meet the needs of poor families by providing food support consisting of rice, sugar, flour, oil, tomatoes. He also expressed his thanks and appreciation to King Salman bin Abdulaziz Abdullah, who launched this initiative about 9 years ago, praised all these facilities offered by the government for the success of this humanitarian project. The Saudi Arabian ambassador to Djibouti took this opportunity to commend the fraternal relations between Djibouti and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, affirming Djibouti's continued support for his countries before regional and international bodies. For the international scene, France and Germany are proposing 500 billion recovery plan for EU.
From the coronavirus crisis, President Emmanuel Macron and Chancellor Angela Merkel announced on Monday at a press conference from Paris and Berlin, respectively, to support a sustainable recovery that restores and reinforces growth in the EU. Germany and France support the creation of an ambitious, temporary and targeted recovery fund as part of the next EU budget, endowed with 500 billion euros, the leaders said at a joint press conference, although at a distance and via video conference. Importantly, both Paris and Berlin are proposing that the European Commission finance this recovery support by borrowing on the markets on behalf of the EU. The executive said it welcomes the Franco-German initiative. The money will then be paid back in budgetary expenditure to European countries and to the sectors and regions most affected, the statement said.
This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.